Disclaimer before we begin, this is being recorded live, so expect some mistakes. Chapter 8. At 5 a.m. the next morning, a good hour earlier than usual, Nathaniel Flaherty was on his rowing machine. He could have started at 4 or even 3 a.m. as he had barely slept. The skies were lightening and the doors and windows of the lab were open as the air was already warm. While he rowed his usual 10 kilometres, he gazed out over the field that rose up to the farmer's land beyond the trees. In the 10 months he had lived there, he had only climbed it once, on his first day. A dozen sheep grazed on the grass led up to the top of the hill, where the sun would soon emerge. Not that he would be there to see it. He finished the 10k in 50 minutes, his manic energy from last night returning with every pull and glide. As he pounded his way through a further 5 kilometres, he worked out what to say to the boy. He found himself smiling. This would be a good day. He was the first teacher to arrive at school, something that had never happened before. He went straight to the chemistry lab and realised from his timetable that he was supposed to be invigilating at an A-level paper in the old school hall at 9 a.m. He left a note for John Watkins in the staff room saying that he wanted to see Itchingham Loft at midday. Did he come to the hall at the conclusion of that morning's exams? Flaherty spent the next 3 hours pacing up and down the hall in between the rows of students. They were his students. He had been teaching there for many months, but he barely noticed them now. He was imagining his return to Green Corps, the forgiven prodigal son returning, and with the geological discovery of the century. This was his way out of the wretched school. This was his moment, and no one was going to take it away from him. He had wondered if he would ever get the chance to resume his career, his real career, not this apology of a job, and it had arrived gift-wrapped. He knew the science was bewildering. He knew there would be skeptics, but when they saw the evidence... At registration, Mr. Watkins called Itch to the front. "I have a note from our head of science. Here." He passed over and Itch read it. "It'll probably be about the rock," said Itch. "What do you think he'll want, sir?" "He's probably arranged to get your health checked out, I imagine." "No," said Itch. "He said I'd be fine." "Really? Just like that?" Watkins thought for a moment. "Well, I haven't seen him today, but my next guess would be he'll tell you what you should do with the rock. If it's as radioactive as the Geiger counter suggested, then you'll need to find a home for it while it's being analysed. West Ridge would be my first call." "I'd like your opinion too, sir, really, if you wouldn't mind. You're the geologist, not him." Itch hadn't intended it to sound quite so blunt, and he blushed a little. Watkins straightened. That's what I've been thinking, to be honest with you. Dr. Flaherty said he had a lead container, so it made sense for him to take it as a precaution. Now that it is safely in its new home, there is no reason I can think of why the stone cannot be returned or placed somewhere where we can all study it. Come and find me when you've seen him." "Time is up, pens down, stop writing." The usual sighs and murmurs that greet the end of an exam broke out in the old hall. Flaherty and Mr. Hopkins, the physics teacher, collected the papers, and the students left in 3s and 4s comparing notes. Through the glass doors, Flaherty noticed Itch waiting outside and waved him in. All the students had gone now, and Mr. Hopkins had handed a pile of papers to Flaherty. "Thanks, sir, Chris. I'll take it from here." Flaherty waited till the physics teacher had left the hall and then smiled at Itch. This had the opposite effect of what he had intended. He had never smiled at the boy before. It was a smile before warmth, and Itch was on his guard immediately. "Well, I took your stone home and put it straight into a lead-lined box. Lead, as you probably know, is so dense it is very effective in stopping most kinds of radiation. It's safe. Remind me where you got it again?" "As I said yesterday, sir, there's this dealer I see every now and again. He sells the stuff. He had it. I bought it from him for £10. This made Flaherty laugh. £10. My. What is his name?" "He's called Cake, sir." "Cake? What kind of a name is that? Where does he live, this Cake?" "I honestly have no idea." "We see him again soon? You see, if he has other rocks like this, he could be in danger. Scrub that, he is in danger. You saw how radioactive that one stone is." "But I'm not in danger?" Flaherty looked up. "No, he'll have been exposed for longer. Relax, Loft." While Itch was not about to relax, he realised his teacher had a good point about Cake's safety, even if he had no intention of telling him about the meeting with the dealer the next day. "I'll try and find him, sir, but he seems to be always on the move. I'll look out for him." "I'd love to meet him if you think that might be possible." A smile again. "I'll tell him, sir. What happens to my stone now? Mr. Watkins was talking about the West Ridge School of Mining. He said they could study it there." Flaherty's smile tightened. "I'm not sure that's the wisest step going forward. Their reputation was made in the 80s, and their analytical papers are not what they were. You need the sharpest minds on this, not some hillbilly local outfit, with respect to Mr. Watkins." "Well, I'd like Mr. Watkins to take care of it, sir, if that's okay, now that it's safe in your box." Flaherty stared at Itch. "Right. Well, I'm afraid that won't be possible." He straightened the exam papers in front of him. Why not, sir? He's a geologist. I am aware of that lot, but I have taken the precaution of sending it away for analysis to labs in Switzerland, where I used to work. You'll get proper results there. Itch felt the colour rise in his cheeks and his throat tighten. You've done what? You sent it to Switzerland. But it's mine, sir. It's my rock. You had no right. I was considering the safety of the school and its pupils, lot. That is all. These labs in Geneva will provide an unbeatable service and world-class analysis. You really will be impressed. After the greenhouse affair, Dr. Dart will agree. The safety of the pupils should always be paramount. You see that, don't you, Loft? You see that, I'm sure. Itch couldn't wait to get out of the hall. It had never occurred to him the Flargy would have got rid of it already. He knew he was a bad teacher and the staff and pupils all disliked him. He knew too that he was mean and vindictive. In an experiment about body mass, he reduced one of the larger girls to tears, but he had never thought him a thief. He pushed through the doors and stopped, leaning his head against the wall and breathing deeply. He's a thief. He's actually a thief. He headed outside, muttering, "The scumbag's a thief," over and over again. He went round the hall and came to a large rectangle of concrete, the only remaining sign of the greenhouse. Around the edges lay a few leaves, all that was left of the plants, and tracks left by the bulldozers that had taken the building apart. A few students had come to look, among them Lucy Cavendish, the Year 10 girl who had brought Itch and Jack water when everyone was being sick. She smiled at him. "Shame," she said. "What a waste." "And all my work," Itch thought grimly. "Yeah, you're right," he said as he walked round it, leaving her staring after him. He had to tell Watkins what had just happened with Flargy. On his way to the staff room, he went to his classroom and found Jack sitting on her desk, chatting with Sam Jennings and her friend Jay Boot. Itch thought that Jay seemed to spend all her time either eating crisps or picking her nose. Today she was managing both, one hand for each. Classy, he thought. Jack glanced up, caught the look on Itch's face, and excused herself. She slid off the desk and came over. "What's up, Itch?" He beckoned her out of the classroom, and they walked along the corridor towards the staff room. "Flargy says he sent the uranium or whatever it is to Switzerland. He took it home to make it safe and then decided it should be examined by these labs he knows. I'm going to tell Watkins what's happened." Jack looked as though she was missing something. "Is that so bad? I mean, I know he's a jerk and everything, but if the labs are as good as he says they are, then maybe—" Itch was astonished. "The point is, it wasn't his rock to get rid of. He should have put it in his lead box and then told me. And Watkins is still the geologist and not Flargy, in case you'd forgotten." They reached the staff room and Itch knocked loudly, saving Jack from having to reply. Hilary Briggs, one of the ICT teachers, put her head round the door. "I need to see Mr. Watkins, please. It's urgent," he told her. She disappeared again and Itch continued where he had left off. Why would he send it away so quickly? What's the big hurry? He turned to Jack, but she shrugged. "No idea, but whatever he's done, it will be for the good of himself, I'm sure." The staff room door opened again and Mr. Watkins emerged. "Thought it would be you. What happened with Dr. Flargy?" He brought his tea with him as they walked down the corridor towards the entrance, past the head's office. Itch recounted his morning's conversation and Watkins listened with raised eyebrows. They pushed through the main door and stood in the sunshine. When Itch had finished, they stood in silence for a moment. Watkins turned to them both, having apparently come to a decision. "Leave it with me," he said, and set off back to the staff room. The heads of geography and science met after school. Watkins had gone looking for Flargy earlier, but couldn't find him. At the final bell he had cleared away slowly, and, as the last students made their way out of school, headed for Flargy's lab. He only just caught him. "Need a quick word, if you don't mind, Nathaniel." "In a tearing hurry, actually. Can it wait?" Flargy had his briefcase in his hand and his jacket over his shoulder. "Not really, no. Itchingham Loft tells me the rock is on its way to Switzerland, an outcome he is very unhappy about. As am I. As his form tutor and his geography teacher, I'm the one he brought it to. You had an appropriate box for its safekeeping, but your jurisdiction finished there. You should have at least discussed this with me." Flargy put down his briefcase and removed his jacket, placing it on the desk. For a moment, Watkins thought he was about to be hit. Flargy was tempted. He stared at Watkins. "That's really what this is about, isn't it?" said Flargy. "Your territory, your empire. It's not about the boy or his rock at all. I've done what's best for the school, Watkins. You know that. Do you think the head needs another school in peril story out there? No, of course not. The further that piece of radioactivity is from the CA, the happier she'll be. Get over it, Watkins." Mr. Watkins's eyes had been getting wider and his mouth more tightly closed as Flargy spoke. As usual, he had a biro in his hand, and now he pointed at Flargy's chest. You're new here, we all know that, and that's okay because we all start somewhere. It's just a shame for you and for us that you had to start as head of science. Your inexperience has been obvious from the outset, and never more so than over this business. The plain fact is, this is theft. The stone is Itchingham's. If Loft's family wanted to press charges, they might be successful, and Dr. Dart certainly doesn't need that either. Both men stood facing each other. A few students and members of staff wandered past, looking in at the windows. "Well, it's all out now then, isn't it?" said Flaherty. "You've never liked me, you've always made that very clear, but I thought I could trust your professional judgment. I see now that I was wrong." He started to put on his jacket. "I am a very well-respected chemist, you know. I have dealt with minerals all my life. I have spoken around the world on the subject, and if I say this stone needs to go to the labs in Switzerland, it does. Okay?" Watkins took a deep breath. "Wrong tense, Nathaniel, wrong tense. You were a respected chemist before you got sacked. That is what happened, isn't it? You don't leave a high-flying international job for the CA voluntarily. It's quite obvious you don't like being here. Staff know it, pupils know it. Our assumption in the staff room is that you had something to do with that terrible oil spill. Would that be right? The one off Nigeria that led to the deaths of 17 oil workers?" Mr. Watkins's voice had been rising steadily, and Flaherty's face drained of colour as he went on. "Did you think we didn't know? Did you think we didn't connect to the name of our sponsor and the name of your old company? You really do think we're stupid?" "Yes!" exploded Flaherty. "I do! This crummy little school's going nowhere! Most of the teaching is second-rate and sometimes third-rate. You wouldn't believe the level of incompetence I see around me every day. What passes for informed comment in the staff room is frankly laughable. If you expect me to accept—" The door to the lab opened and Dr. Felicity Dart appeared. She came in and shut the door behind her. Watkins spoke first. "Ah, Dr. Dart, do come in. Dr. Flaherty here was just giving me his opinion of the CA. Do go on, Nathaniel. You got to the bit about third-rate teaching and general incompetence, I think." Flaherty had regained some of the colour in his cheeks, but that was because he was clearly furious. Before he could say anything, Dart held up her hand. "No, not here. I will not have two of my most senior staff rowing in a classroom in my office. Now!" She turned and walked out, leaving Watkins and Flaherty to follow like two naughty schoolboys. "I was acting in the interest of the school, Dr. Dart. The radioactivity coming off that rock was scary." The head had shown them to her small sofa, so they were sitting uncomfortably close to each other. Flaherty, now more in control of himself, was leaning forward to argue his case, forcing Watkins to sit back. "It needed to be off school premises as soon as possible." Dart nodded. "That is very true, and we are very grateful you had a lead box to hand. Not many schools would have been so lucky, but I would have preferred if you had taken Mr. Watkins and Itchingham into your confidence. It might be that these Swiss labs are better equipped than Westridge, but there's no getting round the fact that it wasn't your wrong to send in the first place." Watkins looked impassive while Flaherty's temper was rising again. "How long will I need to conduct the tests?" asked the head. "I don't know. It depends what they find. You need to get it back, Nathaniel, as soon as they have completed the tests, and to keep any complaints at bay. I know you were taking something dangerous off the school premises, but sending it abroad was uncalled for because it wasn't your property. You need to apologise to Itchingham Loft." There was silence in the head's office. Then Flaherty said, "Very well," and walked out. Later that evening, as instructed, Flaherty picked up the phone and dialed. It rang just the once, and Christophe Revere answered. "The tests are complete," Flaherty told him. "The results are the same. I sent you the data." "And the boy, did you question him?" "Yes, he got it from this mineral dealer called Cake. He says he doesn't know where he lives, but I'm on it, Christophe. I've asked to meet him. We'll pick up the stone tomorrow. We'll send a courier. It will be our usual firm." Flaherty smiled. "I remember. It'll be ready. Good night, Christophe."